So young people with additional support needs are, it's a very diverse group. It's not one kind. And many times it is said that, for example, autism is a spectrum, but it is valid for all support needs. Not all autistic youngster is the same. Not all individual in a wheelchair is the same. Yeah, we cannot unify these needs, and we cannot unify also the responses that we have. We always have to work with the individual. But come on, that's the same in youth work with the other youngsters as well, right? At least it should be. So the needs can appear in different areas of life, and many of them sometimes overlap. For some youngsters, there is nothing more needed, just a friendly welcome, and they will be okay. But for others, they need additional support to go to the bathroom or to have their meal. So you have to be aware of their needs. Some people experience psychological difficulties. This may include anxiety, depression, emotional overwhelm, low motivation, eating difficulties, or even self-harming. There are different kinds of behaviors related to different kinds of psychological difficulties. These may remain hidden. They can be hidden for quite a long period. Yeah? Why? Because of stigma, because of shame, because of being afraid of being judged for this. So you cannot expect anyone with such kind of difficulties to come up to you and be honest from the start. Because they want to make sure that they are safe. They want to take care of themselves because they don't trust you. So building trust is an essential, but in general, you as a professional, you should be aware that just because someone is smiling doesn't mean that person is necessarily absolutely okay. There are some young people who lived through traumatic experiences. Trauma can come from one single frightening event, but it also can come from a long exposure for very, very difficult life situations, such as neglect from the parents, instability in the living circumstances, violence, discrimination, or simply from repeated experience of exclusion. Yeah? So in youth work, trauma may look like anger, withdrawal, panic, mistrust, shutdown, or simply the difficulty with regulating their emotions. As a youth worker, it is not our job to investigate what is the trauma. It is not our job to offer healing, because we are not trained, we are not capable to provide that. But our role is to create safety, predictability, respect, and choice. This way you can support them a lot. There is another big group, quite a big group, which is the neurodivergent young people. This includes young people with autism, dyslexia, dysgraphia, ADHD, and other differences in attention or communication or sensory processing, learning, or social interaction. Neurodiversity reminds us that as humans we are having a different brain set, all of us, yeah? And this is part of the human diversity. And the goal is never to fix these youngsters. It's never to push them into, like, this is how you have to be, this is how you should behave. No. Our work as a youth professional is to create environments which are flexible enough for them to participate. So environments where different ways of thinking and different ways of participation are welcome. There are also some young people who have learning support needs. They might find reading instructions, for example, or writing or calculating difficult. It can also affect the memory of the youngster, like how the person is able to organize certain things, or how long they can concentrate, or whether they can comprehend complex instructions or not. This doesn't mean that they are not capable. It simply means that they need information in different ways, in a more clear, maybe more visual, slower, more practical, or step-by-step format. It can be that you plan a beautiful imagination process where one is like meditating and visualizing and so on and so forth, and they will not be able to take part in that because simply association or imaginary is not their skill set. And yes, there are young people with different physical challenges. This may include mobility difficulties, but also chronic illnesses or epilepsy. It can include pain, fatigue, asthma, or any other health-related needs. So it can be that you have someone with diabetes and then you offer proper food, not with sugar, something that the individual, the youngster can eat. Yeah, it's not so difficult really. Usually it's not like a huge extreme change in the program or in the arrangements. Also, be aware that these needs might not be visible. They might be hidden. Yeah. So someone living with epilepsy is not something that you can notice from the first moment. And also, these are conditions that may change from day to day or even from hour to hour. And thus, flexibility in the program and flexibility in their way of participation should be there. And then I would like to mention the group who faces sensory challenges, which is also very important. This is again something which might be visible from the beginning. Okay, it could be that a young person is blind or partially sighted, therefore hard hearing. That might come as a knowledgeable information for you quite soon, but not always, because there are also hard of hearing youngsters who can read lips, for instance, and you can get quite far with them, and it might be that they will not inform you about this. So, but there are also like other needs related to sensory issues. It could be that someone is very affected by noise or strong lights or crowded rooms, or if the person is touched in an unpredictable way, like you tap the shoulder, it should be okay, but it can be too much for that young person. Or it could be also smell, or a lot of information at once. These can become barriers to participation. For example, we had a participant in an international program where we stayed in a beautiful hotel. And this beautiful hotel, they had this perfume everywhere in the lobby and in the corridors and everywhere. And that otherwise pleasant smell was simply too much for that young person, and couldn't stand in the place, couldn't stay in the venue. So we also should think of other difficulties, which many times are maybe more apparent in youth work in these days. And those ones are the social and environmental difficulties, such as poverty or unstable housing, or family which is not there, or dysfunctional families around the youngster. It can be also like coming from a rural area, or discrimination for some individual traits. It can be different, yeah? But I think as far as my personal experience goes, that these needs are maybe a bit more talked about, but they are still there, and they should be also taken care of. The key point is that there are many additional support needs which are hidden or which are not apparent from the beginning but would come up by time. Anxiety, ADHD, autism, trauma, depression, learning difficulties, sensory overload, chronic stress, fatigue, they are not visible from the beginning.